hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Sorry that I am a bit late. Obviously, there are some, well, not an excuse, not actual explanation, but basically I woke up half an hour ago. I had nothing prepared for the stream. I came home, did some things at home, went shopping and everything, came home and just fell asleep. Straight up fell asleep. Nothing more, nothing less to say about that. Ultimately, well, I am late because I fell asleep. Something unusual, obviously. I also didn't sleep tonight, but it is what it is. But yeah, today, Arsenal, transfers, it's all over the place. Genuinely, it is all over the place. Right now, we are exactly 1 week away from transfer window shutting closed. And, of course, as you would expect, Arsenal still are doing, well, nada. They're doing nothing at the end of the day. Arsenal haven't done anything, and it feels like they're not gonna do anything, because the best deal it looks like we can hope on is some sort of a loan, but what kind of loan? Go figure, right? Basically, go figure. Because we cannot loan anyone from Premier League, because we have 2 loans from Premier League, unless we cancel one of the loans, but Arteta has said he's not thinking about it, which at the end of the day means we can loan maybe from some other country in some other league, not Premier League. So that is already going all over the place. Maybe you can make Neto deal permanent. Maybe that's what Arsenal are thinking, but who knows? Genuinely, who bloody knows? But ultimately, today, Arsenal transfers, Sesko, Nypan, other deals that are circling. We're going to touch on some other rumors. It's all over the place. It's basically quite quiet on Arsenal's front, but there are rumors obviously circulating because Arsenal is one of the teams that are in arguably desperate need to some extent, signing some attackers, signing anywhere basically a player in a way, because there are some places we don't have backups whatsoever. So we're going to talk about all that. So if you're, I don't even know, I still haven't woken up. If you're new around here, like the thing, subscribe, hit that bell, leave your thoughts down in the live chat. Gonna discuss them, and if you are watching this as a playback, leave your thoughts down below, because I answered pretty much every single comment, and I would love to discuss your opinions and takes on certain things. Big up Nathan, he was here before the stream went live. Big up my guy, hope you're doing well. So we'll see. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well, Nathan. Anyways, let's do this. Let's try and make some things out of it. Here we go. Arsenal and Nypan. This is the weird thing that's circling around Arsenal in terms of the fact that Arsenal need a striker, they need an attacker, they need to sign forward players in desperate need, arguably, and we are linked with an 18-year-old midfielder. So that is going according to plan. He's not even going to break, by the looks of things, even Arsenal's main team. He's going to be for the under 18s, under 21s, the second team in the Premier League 2 potentially even. So not sure how that is going. Obviously, building for future is necessary. It's a good thing to do, but it's not a player I would say we desperately need right now. Obviously, he's also been linked with Manchester City and Aston Villa. They both are looking into this youngster. It looks like he's a very promising youngster. At the moment, he has been to Arsenal. He has been to Man City. Obviously, he was spotted in the Man City game. He was there. He talked to Man City. They presented their plan with move to Man City with potential Girona loan and all that stuff. He's also has met with Aston Villa representatives, Unai Emery and stuff like that. And of course, there is Arsenal in that regard. Nypan was in London on Sunday, ahead in talks with Arsenal, with the player currently weighing up his options. Arsenal are also continuing to explore options to add a forward this week. This is according to Simon Jones from Mail Sport. And the big thing is, the latest news about Nypan is, and his dad has come out and said this, because apparently every single dad in the world is player's agent, basically. But yeah, Arsenal remain confident that they will sign Nypan. Arsenal expect to make a decision regarding his future this week, and it also regards Nypan that he's gonna make his decision during this week. Currently, he's in Portugal, training with Rosenborg's team, and basically weighing up his options. Where he will go remains to be seen. If it's Arsenal, it's cool, I don't mind, but he's not the one we need right now. I realize that, again, as I said, building for future, signing youngsters is important to any club because you have to have long-term future, but this legit feels like phase 1 signing. If Arteta likes to talk about phases, might as well dress the phases. And this is a phase 1 signing, because if we are in phase 5, that means 5 years later, he would be 23 by now. If we sign him in phase 1 and everything, like hypothetically speaking, of course. And then he actually could be a decent player for Arsenal. But currently, it looks like he's one for the future. Time will tell only, of course. But it is what it is. Big up Marlon. Big up my guy. Who's going to play left back for the 3 matches. Skelly will miss it. Calafiori. Simple as that. Calafiori most likely, since it's Arteta's marquee signing this summer. He just scored a goal. You saw how he ran to the bench. He celebrated with Mikel, with the team and everything. It's his player. It genuinely is his player, and it looks like he's gonna sign him. That's ultimately is it. That ultimately is it. The biggest question for me though is, obviously, since Top Gunners rated this summer window 7 out of 10, and we signed a left back, we signed a midfielder. Why the hell had we had to sign a midfielder? Because Calafiori has been injured most of the time. Well, not most of the time. He's been injured about 3-4 times. He's been out for extended periods of time. Tierney has been here. Zinchenko has been here. Also, both were injured to some extent. Kivior has been here. Skelly also has been here. And most of the time when we have had a left back, it's been Skelly or Zinchenko. Sporadically, it's been Tierney. And Calafiori has also played a few games, but ultimately, what was the point in signing this 45 million left back at the end of the day? Because we signed Calafiori, we signed Merino, that's basically 80 million down the drain, and you want to tell me we couldn't have signed an actual forward for that money? You've got to be kidding me, to say the least. So that for me is the biggest question we actually could ask to Mikel Arteta. Will we sign anyone before City? City have already signed 3 players. What do you mean sign anyone before City? If you mean by City's 4th signing, I have no idea. I generally have no idea. It looks like we might not. City apparently are weighing up their options. Whether they're going to sign a midfielder or not remains to be seen, because that for them as well at the moment is a questionable topic. Let's just put it that way. Although they desperately need someone in the midfield, because KDB has no legs, Gundogan has no legs, Kovacic has no legs. And in that regard, oh, you mean before the City game? I don't think so. I don't think so. The best bet for Arsenal to sign anyone is after the City game. Obviously, in an ideal scenario, we sign someone before, and that just also isn't enough, because we need to register him before the City game, 24 hours before the City game, so we actually can put him in the team sheet for the game. So, you know how Arsenal do things, so I wouldn't get my hopes up, let's just put it that way. That's the problem. Nathan City signed a young left back today. Yeah, they signed a left back, they signed a center back, they've signed a forward who already looks better than any forward Arsenal has. If we look how Marmoush, if you watch the game, played against Chelsea, oh bloody hell. It feels like to some extent he actually could be Julian Alvarez 2.0, much better version, much more dangerous, much more, he finds the gaps, and he has that sassiness about him, if that makes sense, that he's making the runs and gaps, not giving a crap where Haaland is. That is the weird part. He was making those runs in between the lines, maybe taking a bit of a space off Haaland. At the same time, that has made City 10 times more dangerous. Because if Marmoush is making those runs, you never know who the pass is going to. And that is making them more dangerous, in my opinion. And for Arsenal, for our defense specifically, that will be an extra headache for the weekend. If the way I look at this. So it will be very interesting to see. Let's just put it that way. If Nypan and Nico Williams come in, they will start against City. Nypan is not going to start against City. Nico Williams, let's just say we drop before the City game the release clauses, pay the money, he comes in, signs. I can see that. But the biggest thing still stands for me. Nico Williams has openly said that his favorite club is Barcelona. So I don't see him coming to Arsenal. And to add on top of that, in summer, the sole reason he didn't move to Barcelona was because they signed Dani Olmo. But Barcelona, according to reports coming out of Spain, reassured him that next summer they will go for him. Now that kind of coincides with the fact that they have Rafinha. Maybe they want to replace Ferran Torres. They want to have more options, obviously. And given how Hansi Flick plays, Nico Williams would thrive in that environment, of course. But yeah, it looks like Barcelona still for me is the number one target. I know I'm talking about these rumors and reports that Arsenal are linked with him. Arteta is on fire for Nico Williams. But for me, ultimately, he is gonna be a Barcelona player during summer. I don't see him coming to Arsenal. We'd be lucky if we get Zubimendi. We would be lucky in terms of that nobody else signs him. There's a reason why Real Madrid and Barcelona have not signed him up. Because most of the best Spanish players go to Real Madrid and Barcelona. And if those two teams are not going after him, isn't that telling something? Let's just put it that way. Even Atletico Madrid. If they are not going for that player, isn't that telling you something? Let's just say it pound per pound as it is. Calafiori, Tierney, rotate. Yeah. Exactly. Calafiori is somewhat decent. Now, the thing is, we're going to play City. And we all saw what happened to Calafiori against City in the first 15-20 minutes, how he got cooked by Savio. I'm scared that it's going to happen again. And with the fact that he just has come back from injury, I'm scared that he will basically turn his knee and he's going to get injured once again. But the thing is, if we want to basically... If Mikel Arteta is going to do what I am assuming he's going to do when he wants solid defense, he's going to start Kieran Tierney. There's no shadow of a doubt about that. But I don't see it happening. I think he's going to start his marquee signing because he needs to justify it. He hasn't played a lot. He's been injured quite a bit of time. Similar like Merino. Both of these players, more predominantly Calafiori, has come in with some bad track record injury-wise. And they both have come in and both have been injured 3-4 times each. Not cumulatively, each. Since coming to Arsenal. And that already is a worrying sign in general. Yes, that will help us after the biggest game of the season, bringing a player. Exactly, that is what Arsenal are gonna do. And trust me, it's not even gonna be a good player. It's gonna be another player that we go to some other club's trash cans. We're gonna dig around and find 5p, and that's gonna be our next big thing, basically. And obviously, since we're gonna sign him on the deadline day, everyone will be super happy. Because the biggest thing about this club is they starve you until you are hungry to such a level when even awful food looks like caviar to you. Ultimately, that's how Arsenal are operating these days. Same thing happened with Sterling. We got starved, and if you get starved long enough, even the food you hate, right, becomes the best food in the world because it's something to eat. And that was Sterling for Arsenal. And I kind of think that this could also happen in this window. We're going to get starved with no signings. And then out of nowhere, we will sign on loan or randomly we'll drop a 35-40 million on Rashford, for example. And everyone will hype it up like it's the best signing in the world. He's exactly what we need and everything. Because Rashford is obviously... Ruben Amorim yesterday came out in an interview and said he much rather play a 65-year-old goalkeeper coach than play Rashford. Isn't that telling you something? And obviously this will drag out so long, and this will basically United will want to get him off his books so badly that he might be available during the deadline day for 35, 40, 45 million. And Arteta has this pathology, this need, this necessity to save a failing player. We all know that. And that is bank he's coming in. And on top of that, obviously, Rashford actually doesn't sound like Arteta signing because he doesn't want to press back. He has a massive ego because he's a big player on big wages. And he likes to party. That definitely doesn't track with Mikel Arteta. But with the way Arteta is operating, he can save him. We are a shelter, basically, for lost puppies. And we try to basically give them home. Happened with Jorginho. Happened with, well... if you want to put it that way, Havertz, Zinchenko, Jesus, and you can name all of them over the years, Gallas and all them, man. And you can include even Cedric Soares and players like that in that equation. Yeah, it feels that way. He will to play the best, his best Merino. We'll see. And he will bet every day and he's defending with me. Dude, don't even... If you want to disrespect arguably one of the best defenders of all time comparing him to Calafiori, much rather you not say anything at all. No offense, but let's be real. Paolo Maldini arguably is the best defender of all time. One of the best. I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the best. arguably the best I have seen play in my life. I'm gonna be on serious note. And if you're gonna compare some random Paris Fashion Week defile model like Calafiori to Maldini, no offense, but I'm gonna clap back. Nico Williams. It's not. That's the thing. Nico Williams is a baller. He's just tired of being in his older brother's shadow. For me, Nico Williams is worse than Iñaki Williams. I've been watching La Liga for the same amount of time I've been watching Premier League, pretty much. And the way I see football, the way I look at football, for me, Iñaki Williams is much better than Nico Williams. Yes, Nico Williams may have better ceiling, ultimately in the future, but will he reach that ceiling? God knows. But looking at the way they're playing and everything, for me, Iñaki Williams is a better player than Nico Williams. And isn't that telling something? And Iñaki Williams has also a very good track record in injuries. He has missed about 300. He didn't miss about 100 and something plus games in a row without injuries. And the one time he missed a game was, I don't remember even. It was a random injury where he just missed one game. Next game he was again playing full 90. It was a random thing that happened to him. Yeah, Rashford. Just wait for that. Just wait. No chance in hell. They cannot afford. They won't and they can't. I'm disrespecting the GOAT Maldini, Calvel, Kukrabo. Like, how to phrase this, because I'm very tired of players being compared or being named in the same levels as certain players. That is the biggest thing. That is the same as there were Arsenal fans that were naming Kai Havertz the reincarnation of Dennis Bergkamp. Same thing. It's something on the same level. They were saying he's like Bergkamp-esque. He has something of Bergkamp on Van Persie. Some of the best strikers attackers have Arsenal ever seen in their lifetime. And for me growing up seeing Van Persie, Bergkamp, Henry, a bit of Ian Wright, maybe not as much as I would like to, but a bit of Ian Wright, mostly on replays and old tapes, but everything. If people and Arsenal fans compare Kai Havertz to those players, I don't even. I genuinely don't even. Yeah, nobody. It's called, we have signed a Chinese player called Fukin Nu Wan. Yeah, that guy. He's called like this. Exile disappointing. We need to start selling us in defense. We'll need left wing who will play. The time will tell. With his injury record, what? Why are you crying, Nathan? Why are you crying? You got excited when I said we have signed someone. Anyways, Sver Nypan, let him do what he wants to do and talk to his dad about the future transfers. Anyways, Fabrizio Romano has spoken on Mikel Arteta. And basically Arsenal, let's just put it that way. On Arteta FC. And he has said that I'm sure that in private they are working hard. Well, we'll try to find out who they want to bring in. So he has no idea. So every single link he's saying is just a random thing. He's just, well, I don't want to say lying about, but it's a misinformation to some extent. Let's just put it that way. Obviously, the dream target remains Isak, but it's not a player who will be leaving in January. The fact that he has said, I'm sure that in private they are working hard, we'll try to find out who they want to bring in, just shows that every single transfer rumor he has said about strikers in Arsenal, more often than not, has been a lie, in a way. And to be honest, this is the biggest thing. Let's just go back about 4 or 5 years when Fabrizio Romano was actually a breaking news exclusive person that basically broke the most exclusive transfer news, and when he got basically that fame that he has right now. He was going against the grain, against all the social other media, biggest outlets when he was saying that were saying that, oh, there's links with that, there is happening that. He was actually providing a proper transfer links, a proper signings, and proper inside information that others couldn't. Fast forward to these days, for the last 2 years or so, he basically has become the thing that he was fighting against in a way. He has become the same old plain old sheep, following the social media, doing the same links, tweeting out the same thing about 50 times just to get interactions, in putting eyes emoji, sometimes quote tweeting, rephrasing the same tweet, basically saying the same thing over and over and over again, and just pretending like it's a different news. That's what ChatGPT does. Basically, you put in a sentence and say, type this in 10 different ways. And you basically mix and match until you get something that sounds different, but has the same thing. And that's what he's doing in these days. He has become the one thing we hated the most, and we turned to Fabrizio Romano at the time, because we knew we can trust him. These days, again, fast forward 4 years, and especially in the last 2 years, he has become that guy who we predominantly turned away from, with the links, rumors, extra links, and everything. I just had to get it off my chest. That's how I see this. Man, this bullshit's pissing me off, man. Sign someone at the end of the day. What about Ayub Wadi from Lille? I feel he's a better midfielder for the future than Nypan, or get them both. Haven't seen Ayub Wadi. I'm not gonna lie. Don't watch Lille that much. I'm gonna put it that way, so I cannot put out my 5 cents to this story. But I'm gonna tell you this much. If there is one player I would like from Lille, well, 2 players, let's just put it that way. Predominantly that would be Jonathan David, as one of the 2 strikers at Arsenal. And the second one is he from Kosovo, I think? Zhegrova, the right winger. He looks like a very decent one. This is AFTV's fault, it's everyone's fault. If nothing comes in this January, you know this board won't take us any further than that. Yeah, that ultimately is the thing. They are not taking us any further. Mikel Arteta is not going to take any of us forward, because this team this season has been built with intention to be the smallest team in the league. We had last year the smallest team in the league. And what we decide to do this year? We decide to make it even smaller. Last year we had 25 players registered. This year we have 22. Where does that make sense? Especially for a team that is going for a title. Did Arteta really took a gamble on the fact that we gonna avoid every single goddamn injury like we did last year? It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. And now we're paying the price. Only person I would take from Ligue 1 is Vitinha. Vitinha would have been nice. Vitinha definitely would have been nice. João Neves also is very decent, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously he needs time to grow, but yeah, it is what it is. Greenwood, he has everywhere Greenwood has gone after Man United and that thing that happened there, he's been fantastic. He was phenomenal at Getafe last season, and he's fantastic for Lille this season, although Lille have fallen off a bit, I'm not gonna lie. The gap between PSG is 10 points now. They were very close, they were catching a bit up, but now they have fallen back down again. I just don't want them to rush Saka back. And that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There is a big possibility you will see that. We saw that with Gabriel Jesus, remember? We were in a title race, 8 points clear and everything. Gabriel Jesus got injured in Brazil. With Brazil in the World Cup. He had that surgery. He rushed him back to the end part of the season. It's a few weeks later him to get another knee injury, and he was in a necessity of another surgery. And now it has prolonged to the fact that his both knees are meshed up. He needs another surgery on the other knee now, and he has done ACLs on both knees. That is the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. Exactly. Grade 3 hamstring injuries are no joke. When you need a surgery, especially when your muscle tissue is hanging off a bone and everything, it's usually 7 months. 6 months if you are Wolverine, and then it's usually some 7 to 9 months. I don't see Saka being back till April, late April at best. But if this club wants to rush him back, it's gonna happen, obviously. But if basically what Arsenal should do is play as it goes, as the crow flies at the moment, and when it comes to March, late April, mid-April, near April, see where we stand in the league. And I even then wouldn't risk Bukayo Saka, by the way. That's me as a fan saying this. But Arsenal probably will see, oh, we are only 2 points behind. Imagine if we are only 2 points behind. The closer we're gonna be to Liverpool, coming closer to the fact that Bukayo Saka could return, the bigger will be the chance that we're gonna rush him back. That's how I see it. I want Saka not to play at all this season. Get him fully healed, rest him up, and next year he can play. I don't want to see him on the pitch this season whatsoever. That is me. That's me as a fan saying this. And I want us to win the league, win Champions League. I want us to win everything. And if this club was smart, I don't want to see Bukayo Saka touch pitch in a game till the end of the season. Make him play only starting next season. That's what I would do. He needs recovery. He needs proper replacement. And on top of all that, with this injury and recovery, he actually gets some fucking rest. Finally, from being played into the ground, limping all the time, from being played full 90 almost every single game, getting played against necessary games against like Preston when we are 3-0 up. Why the fuck are you playing him? And now, injuries that happen. Stamina, fatigue, everything, basically, his body gave up. That's why he got the ACL injury at the end of the day. He was so run down. And if this club has any brain cells whatsoever, he wouldn't touch grass this season whatsoever. We would sign a proper replacement and go from there. But there's a big possibility they're gonna try and rush him back no matter what, unfortunately. Give him the rest, because him not playing gives him the rest and chance to re-energize himself. It's actually kind of sad, and that should be a sackable offense alone, that it took an injury to your star player for him to actually get some time off to relax, to chill, not to actually recuperate some energy. Why are we linked with everyone else? We are linked with Ferguson now. But the thing is, only way we can sign Ferguson is if we buy him. We have 2 loans from Prem, we cannot loan him in. Arteta has said he doesn't want to cancel the loans from Sterling and Neto, which means either we sign Neto full time, or God forbid Sterling, I hope that doesn't happen, or we have to look somewhere else, or we have to buy him. And another youngster in another phase 1 person. Greenwood is cooking right now. Arsenal snap him up and rely on right-wing striker and bring him back to England. Only thing, I don't think Arsenal want that PR madness coming their way. Given that what happened at United and everything, the whole reason why United sold him, Arsenal want to be seen as that club. Ultimately, I think that's also the case. And I don't think he even would want to come to Arsenal as an ex-United player. What the hell? Hell no, if Arteta even dares. Exactly, let Saka rest, chill. Exactly, let him come back. Because currently, if you look at injury reports, and injury reports when it predicts Bukayo Saka coming back, it's late March, early April. I don't see it happening. I don't want that to happen, by the way, with his injury record. Exactly. Saka should get a proper recovery, healing, and rest at the moment. No rushing back, no nothing. Because no matter how you look at things, Bukayo Saka is going to be your main man. However, coming back from ACL injuries arguably is the hardest thing to do. And there's a big possibility, 90% chance even, that when he comes back, he's not going to be the player he used to be. Which means that Arsenal should already be looking to some extent as somewhat decent replacement for him in terms of proper substitute to take him off more often. Not to let him play as much. Because it happened to Michael Owen as well. Remember, Michael Owen was flying. 1 ACL injury, bang, his career is gone. Like, it could happen to Saka as well. You never know. Yes, their Timber has come back from ACL. Looks fantastic. Van Dijk looks a bit shaky sometimes due to ACL injuries, especially when he just came back. But overall, he has come back to that. There are very rare occasions when person from a grade 3 ACL injury, comes back and is the same player. Very rare. Obviously, I'm not including Messi and Ronaldo in these instances, right? Because those are freaks of nature and the best we have seen ever. But ultimately, it's a very rare thing. Very rare thing. Manieri is basically a right wing now. Exactly. Play Manieri. But that again, you need a backup for Manieri. He already got injured because he was playing so much. Not so much, but in general, he already got injured. Which means we need a backup for him as well. Greenwood didn't his innocent at least he can walk without the crutches now. Exactly. I'm not saying that. It's just the history that we have seen before. I'm just stating that as an example. You can have your player come back and he's the same, or a tiny bit worse. Or you can have what happened to Michael Owen, for example. Fernando Torres. Players like that. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, moving on. Nypan everything. Okay, Kieran Tierney. A guy I don't want Arsenal to leave. I want them to re-sign him and play him as a left back. Will that happen? Of course not. So, anyhow, Celtic apparently are expected to approach Arsenal to discuss the conditions of possible loan deal for Kieran Tierney this month. So we have a week left to see if Tierney stays or not. Celtic are close to agreeing pre-contract terms with Tierney. That's obviously when his contract runs out in summer and he's going to move on for free, which is genuinely a sad thing, I'm not going to lie. He's one of my favorite players no matter what. To be honest, if I look at the last 7 years at Arsenal, my favorite players, there's Aubameyang, there's Tierney, and I'm stuck. Well, Saka, Gabriel, that's very recency biased. From the recent times, it genuinely two of those is Aubameyang and Tierney. And by the way, Aubameyang today scored 2 goals in the 2nd minute and 90th minute against Al Hilal, the best team in Saudi, and won them the game 2-1. He did that today. Cheeky little loan for Aubameyang back to Arsenal, although I don't think he would want to play left wing back again. Yeah, but yeah, see, that's the biggest thing. Celtic would want to have Tierney, but would like him earlier for the UCL knockouts. That is a big thing. Extend Tierney's contract, make him number 1 left back, convert Calafiori to left center back, and play Skelly in the fucking midfield in that 6 or 9. That should be the thing. That should be the thing. But it's not going to happen because Arteta is not going to do that, obviously. Biggest thing about this is, for me, Calafiori is a left-sided center back. 2 at the back, 3 at the back, he's a left-sided center back, no matter how you look at things, right? Kieran Tierney is out-and-out left back, left wing back, which we should be using properly. For me, the biggest question is Miles Lewis Skelly. Because Wenger used to do this a lot, and he has said this in interviews, because when players are young, they're not physically as developed. We all know, like stature, mass, and everything. And then they tend to be pushed out to the wide left wing, left back, and everything where you don't need as much strength. And once they get older, they basically mature, and then they get moved back into midfield. For me, the big question is, will Miles Lewis Skelly move back into midfield? Will he remain a left back, or will he move back in the midfield in, like, say, 3 years' time? That for me is the big question right now as well. Because we have seen he's quite good at left back. We haven't seen him in midfield for Arsenal too much, so that is the biggest question. Yes, he inverts, but fuck the invert shit. I want him properly to start in the 8 role, see what happens. That for me is the biggest thing. What will happen with the Miles Lewis Skelly in that regard? Man, Tierney was so good at Celtic and he was cooking at exactly until... Biggest thing, 2 things that ruined Kieran Tierney. Injuries, to some extent, and then Mikel Arteta because he wanted to invert. Let's be real. Aubameyang and Kieran Tierney, those 2 players, to some extent, single-handedly won him the FA Cup. Because the way I see this, I still have this imprinted in my memory. When we won the FA Cup, the lobs over the back line, behind with Aubameyang running in behind against City and against Chelsea, that basically Tierney did to Aubameyang. Those were phenomenal. And we have never turned back to ever since. We never have seen the 5 at the back as well since then. And Tierney was fantastic. Aubameyang was fantastic then. Tierney is the only player who has played in the semi-finals and finals of that FA Cup, who basically granted us that FA Cup. He's the only one. Peace out, Nathan. Good night. Have a nice evening. Hope we can get some good news tomorrow. Hope you had a great day as well, my man. Bro, better play my boy Kieran Tierney. Would you like to see Skelly at right back? I don't know. He can play there to some extent, but I'm not sure. It's the same thing as playing Timber as a left back. He can do the job, but that's not his best position. So no matter how you look at this, it's gonna be a hit and miss depending on the opposition. Tierney with a spectacular cross and Obama bangs it in. Yeah. Tierney just... I remember there was the high line from City. Aubameyang was playing off the shoulder of the defender. I don't remember who was it at the time on top of my head. And Tierney just lobbed the midfielder and the two defenders behind the back, and Aubameyang just rushes in on net against Ederson. I remember that vividly. Would you play Kabia? I would give him some minutes off the bench, 100%. Because I much rather play Kabia than Raheem Sterling. I'm just gonna put it that way. I also would love to see Oyedeji at striker, as a sub even, rather than Kai Havertz. And by the way, still haven't heard anything about Kai Havertz. The fact that he was sitting on the ground, getting treated by the medical staff at the end of the weekend's game against Wolves, is not a good sign as well. And still haven't heard whether it's just a cramp, whether it's just actually an injury. And if we actually think about the worst, I don't like to think about these things, but what if Havertz gets injured? What are we gonna do then? Big up Harry, the problem is Tierney is injury prone. You could say that, but if you look at the time he's been at Arsenal and compare to Zinchenko, to Tomiyasu, to Partey for the time they have been at Arsenal, and if you compare to the time they've been injured whilst being here, Tierney from those four actually is the least injury prone, by the way, if you look at it that way. Partey, even Jesus, Partey, Jesus, Tomiyasu, they have been more injury prone than Kieran Tierney. Personally, Robo, do you think Oyedeji could be better than Jesus at striker? I haven't seen him play. I cannot judge him. I just want him also to get a proper chance. That for me is the biggest thing. Exactly, if he gets some minutes and we actually see what he's all about. Because unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, I don't have enough time to watch every single football game in the world. And I cannot even watch Arsenal's under-21s play. Because if I had the chance just to sit there and watch, let's just say Kabia, Oyedeji, Salam Hand and everyone else play, I would love that. But I just cannot. First of all, I don't get coverage, and if I did, I would need to find time. Yeah, Salah is cooking. He shouldn't be in the first team, but he should definitely be on the bench and utilized more, especially with Jorginho going away. You might as well try to kind of put him into the team and see what he's all about. Obviously, you need some... You would argue that with these youngsters, you need some opportunistic circumstances with being 3-0 up, 4-0 up, but it is what it is. And speaking of Jorginho, by the way, apparently Flamengo, Brazilian team, if you didn't know, are pushing to sign Jorginho before the end of the window, but Arsenal would be reluctant to let him go. And I get that, because our midfield is very thin and it's very injury prone. Because if we let Jorginho go, we have Merino, Rice and Partey. Merino is injured at very big extenses, let's be real, at times. Then it leaves Partey and Rice. We all know that Partey's injury record is not the best, and half the time he plays at fucking right back. So that means only Declan Rice. So ultimately, looking from that standpoint of view, if we let him go, what the hell are we doing? Yes, we have Zinchenko, but he apparently is still linked with Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund are still pushing for a deal to sign Alexander Zinchenko before the 3rd of February as well. I think Zinchenko's deal is a loan, though. I think loan with obligation or something like that to buy. Jorginho is they have to pay him if they don't want to wait, because his contract runs out at the end of the year. Then if they want him, then they can sign him for free. A bit different circumstances in that regard. And Luis, 21-year-old, hasn't played a game at center back, and bro has been on loan and got some experience. That's the big thing. We have many players that haven't kicked a ball for Arsenal, but been out on multiple loans. I kind of get this feeling that with Zayn and Luis, it will be similar like it was with Rule Walters or Konkwo and players like that. We will either sell him for very cheap or let him go for free. I kind of get the feeling. Because the way the PR around Arsenal is surrounding Max Dauman, for example, I don't see, for example, some midfielders playing at all. Getting let go, I see. Same goes for Aiden Heaven. John Sweeten, whatever his name was. Maldini, the youngster as well. The PR and the way they've been spoken about in the media about Arsenal's future, those look like Arsenal's future. Which means that if you are older than them and you haven't kicked a ball for Arsenal whatsoever and you are not even the first team on the bench, more chances than not that you're gone. I think it kind of has come to that. I think with Arsenal it has come to that. Especially given the fact that Nichols has been for Arsenal on the bench. He has played in pre-season. And Luis hasn't. Same goes for Aiden Heaven, and players like that. Same goes for example, we are not going to let go of Setford, Porter. They have played it for us in Carabao Cups, which means they are not going to let go as well. There are players that have already played for Arsenal's main team. They have showed themselves from the strongest side to many extents. And that means if you are older than them and you haven't been even on the bench or in the training with the first team, there's a big chance you're never going to be. Do you think Arsenal will sell Zinchenko? Yes. Might not be now, but it's definitely going to happen in summer. The rumors and reports surrounding Zinchenko are way too big to ignore. And the way he's been treated in a way that he doesn't play almost whatsoever leads me to believe he's gone. Either now, on loan with obligation, or in summer. I heard that as well, until I see it happen and he holds an Arsenal shirt. I don't believe jack shit. Just saying it as it is. Not sure why there's a Sesko image there, but it is what it is. We already talked about. Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. Obviously, Skelly's red card, one of the biggest talking point, arguably the biggest talking point this weekend. If Arsenal appeal lose Skelly's ban, the red card, because he has a 3-match ban and everything, it will be decided by an independent panel of ex-players and not PGMOL, which in theory sounds very nice, very good, and fantastic, of course. Though, there's no guarantee Arsenal will win, because if you recall Bruno Fernandes' red card against Spurs where he just slipped and it kind of hit Maddison and it was all over the place and it was very controversial as well, was only won by 2 votes to 1. Which means Lewis Kelly's red card is a very subjective matter. Because if you look in a very slow motion, in a very dramatic slow motion, you can see that it tiny bit clips his knee and then it goes to his leg, right? If you look at that way, by default, by the letter of law, it's a red card and it is what it is. Now, if you look from game point of view, from player's point of view, and if you look in actual speed, it just looks like he has basically stopped a quick counter. It's a tactical foul. It's not malicious. It's not on purpose in terms of trying to get him injured or anything, which means it should be a yellow. So basically, at the end of the day, no matter how many times you look at this, it's subjective to the point of view, and it's subjective to the person that is viewing it. Because for me, it's not a red card. For my friend, for example, who would be viewing this, it could be a red card. For someone else, it's not even a foul, maybe to some extent. It basically is subjective to the person that is viewing it. So you never know. We can win this, we can lose this. It can maybe get minimized from 3 games to 1 or to 2, maybe something like that. But ultimately, as I said, it is very subjective to the view. It's subjective to the person viewing it. Let's just put it that way. And Sesko wants to come to ours. I read that. Yeah, it is what it is. It's summer. when I catch that. Don't be disrespectful and don't be abusive. Let's just put it that way. Don't insinuate any stuff like that. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, this is what Marlon was saying about Sesko. Benjamin Sesko would prefer to move to Arsenal over Chelsea or Manchester United. But RB Leipzig do not want to sell the 21-year-old this window, and it stands to point. Why would they want to sell when they are in Champions League? They're fighting to get in the top 16 and everything. So basically they will have that extra leg. They actually are not that far off the top 8, aren't they? Are they? Champions League table, where is it? Champions League table, where is RB Leipzig? They are far away. So they're fighting for... they cannot even get in top 16. So what's the point then? Do they really want to keep him solely for Bundesliga purposes alone? It's a weird one. They have lost every single game besides one. How wild is that? A club that has been created in 2009. It's barely 15 or 16 years old, first of all. And Arsenal, as Top Gunners like to say, one of the biggest clubs in the world, third biggest club in England, cannot get a player from Red Bull Energy Drink goddamn Leipzig. Make it make sense. It feels like someone like Preston is going after the Sesko deal, not Arsenal, as weird as it sounds. But yeah, it's weird that they have no chance in going through whatsoever. And why they want to keep him that much? Solely for Bundesliga purposes or what? How does Bundesliga table look if we look at this? If we look at this Bundesliga table, they are 5th on the same points as Stuttgart, second by goal difference. They are basically battling for top 4. And they have Openda still, but they don't have that many attackers. I think that's why they want to keep him. They have attacker issues and they cannot replace him in such a short period of time. That's why they try to basically get out the release clause thing from his contract when they wanted to resign him. By the way, I'm not trying to suggest that I want Sesko at Arsenal, but if that's the marquee signing, there has to be a reason why he hasn't signed. Obviously, it got reported during summer that the reason we didn't sign him was because Arteta and Arsenal hierarchy said to him that Kai Havertz is going to be the main striker and he's going to be the backup dancer to him. But now that Havertz is missing every single chance he gets almost, in the last 7-8 games overall, he should be scoring at least 1 goal every single game, if not beyond 2, even or a hat-trick. It looks like Arteta maybe start looking at this and saying, well, I have screwed up. He won't openly admit that, of course, because Havertz is his baby and 65 million, 285 a week, and everything kind of has to need some purposes, but I guess it is what it is. They need backups, they cannot afford that. Nico Williams at Emirates and the home kids seeing him. When I see it, I will believe it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Nypan at Emirates. Osimhen, not sure. Not sure it's that going to happen as well. That also has gone hella quiet in recent days. Obviously, we already talked about this. Nypan is currently in Portugal, completing solo sessions in Rosborn's training camp. And Arsenal, of course, are leading Nypan's race, but obviously it's up to him to decide where he wants to go. Ultimately, it is what it is. We have to sit patiently and wait. Anything new on here? Mikel Arteta turning around after seeing red card. The crowd cheer only to see Meslier Skelly being sent off. Okay, cool. Nobody cares. Troy Deeney's team of the week. Calafiori as a left-sided center back. The irony. Arteta would never. So nothing here is happening. Generally, no news about Arsenal. Just random rumors being spouted around. And go figure if it's true or not. Obviously, we already talked about this. Let's see what Fabrizio is saying today. Let's see what Fabrizio Romano is saying. Neymar has gone back, by the way, to his club where he started his career, to Santos. Good luck to him. I'm not gonna lie. Santos can sign Neymar, by the way. Imagine that. After Araujo and Pedri, Barca have also agreed in principle on new deal for Gavi. Final details sorted as for Pedri, but a verbal agreement ready with Deco, who's taking care of negotiations. Wow, Gavi has 1 billion release clauses. Or, Pedri. Holy crap. Ugh. Werder Bremen and Valencia both have asked for Ismael Kone. 58 days after joining Genoa, Mario Balotelli already on the verge of leaving the club. Oh, lol, Mario wants to play and here's not finding enough space, so we are not looking for a good solutions for all. Basically, that's a politician's answer. He fucked up and we want him gone, basically. That's what it's saying. Olympique Lyon have sacked the manager Pierre Sage with immediate effect. John Textor, working on new manager as Paulo Fonseca, is among options for... Dude, Lyon is gonna be so shocked if they sign Fonseca, man. I don't want to see Fonseca at Lyon. I'm not gonna lie. Never, ever in a million years. Never, ever. Now, Benzema would bag at Arsenal. There's no argument about that. But this is the signing we should have made 10 years ago when actually Wenger could have gotten him. Now it's too late. It's too damn late. Nypan, Odegaard, Rice, Sesko, Deji, Cabio, Sterling, UCL lineup with Monluis. Dude, we are gonna lose that game with that lineup, by the way. We are losing that game with that lineup. Let's not do it this way. Let's be real. Nypan isn't even an Arsenal player. Why you put him in the midfield first? Hell no, keep that. I don't no. Accord signs Saint Etienne, Jaber. Bayern have signed Urbig from Köln. The buy clause for Dina. Oh, and Bimbe has a Monaco 9-track deal going through. João Felix. Aston Villa, one of several clubs monitoring João Felix situation ahead of the final days of the window. His agent Jorge Mendes is talking to many clubs as reported for last week. Okay, random question. João Felix at Arsenal, yes or no? I know it's a Chelsea trash bin player, by the way, but just for the sake of an argument. João Felix at Arsenal, yes or no? Yes or no? João Felix at Arsenal. Error, Salam Khan supposed to be there. Yeah, could be. Could definitely be. João Felix to Arsenal, yes or no? Just a random thought. Big up Mohammed, he's saying yes. Marlon, what do you think? João Felix to Arsenal, yes or no? Because I have a weird thing about João Felix. Not like that. No pauses, no nothing. Not like that. Because I would say yes, because he was quite good at Benfica and Barca. And that's the biggest thing. And this is my point. Because when João Felix was at Benfica, he was fantastic. And then he moved to Atletico Madrid, Barca and everything. Obviously didn't work out everywhere he went. But ultimately, when he was in those teams, I wanted him at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted him at Arsenal. And he is actually that type of a player that, in a way, Arsenal needs. And that would actually work for him, in my opinion. I know it's a Chelsea reject, and that could also sway many people in a very direction, because we have been burnt with about 50 million Chelsea rejects that pretty much no one has worked out. Czech, Gallas, who else is there? Of course, Jorginho, Havertz, and you can name them till the end of the time, ultimately. But I would try and risk for Felix. On loan, I would risk it for the biscuit, ultimately. He's one of those players I kind of think that actually could fit at Arsenal. It's a weird one. I know it's a weird one. But he actually is not that bad of a player, as people say. He can play left wing, right wing, number 10, as he can play across. He fits the profile, as Mikel Arteta likes to say. I prefer him as a left wing. From left wing, he actually is very good. See, Harry thinks a big no. Man, don't hate on Felix. He's a baller. Play right in midfield, jam. We need more. What is Veggers? Can anyone... What is Veggers? What do you mean by that? We need more Veggers. Because where my mind went when I read that word definitely is not what that means. Oh, Cedric Soares! Holy crap! Former Arsenal right-back Cedric Soares agrees to join Sao Paulo as a free agent. Holy crap! He actually is going to Sao Paulo. Whoa-wee! He is still playing. Holy crap! Would you rotate Trossard as a cam or center forward? I would rotate Trossard if we play double striker formation. He would be a great center forward / secondary striker. Like he was playing predominantly that center forward, number 10 role when we played PSG. I think that could actually work to some extent. Cedric, he's still kicking about. Anyways, what else is happening? Buendia to Bayer Leverkusen after initial loan will be worth around 20 million. Holy crap, Buendia to Bayer Leverkusen. What is happening here? Palacios, Mbimbe. It's weird. Buendia. Remember when Arsenal won at Buendia? Remember those days? Nato Vega. So, Aston Villa won Disasi. Holy crap. What are they doing? We need more wingers. Yeah, and João Felix can play there. Would you take Openda and Cherky for Arsenal? If I kinda can exclude Arteta from the equation, I would take Openda. And actually I would take both. Although Cherky, from what I have read, is very lazy in trainings and everything as well. He has a bit of an attitude issue, just like when Duzi allegedly did when he was at Arsenal. So it's a bit different one. But overall, I would take Openda. But obviously, with Mikel Arteta here, we are not getting any of those. Anything else? Anything else worth reporting? Disasi. Boniface. Victor Boniface and Al Nassr story. Oh, Al Nassr have gone read the... Al Nassr! They just sold Talisca to Fenerbahce, to Jose Mourinho's club. So, understand Al Nassr delegation is now in Germany to negotiate with both player side and Bayer Leverkusen. Talks underway as revealed Boniface and John Duran are the two main names for Al Nassr. Holy crap, he's gonna play with Ronaldo. Holy moly, what a day for Boniface. Cherk is a baller. I know he's a baller. I know. I have watched him for a long time, but for me, I don't care if you're a baller or not. If your attitude stinks and you're lazy, you can fuck off, ultimately. Because when I was playing, and not just football, I wasn't the most talented player. There were countless players who were more talented than me. But the players who were talented, they had attitude issues and they never worked hard. I was working hard, and that's why I got picked over them. I always got cussed out for that, but it's on manager's decision. And that's why I genuinely hate lazy people. In general. Not just in football or sports, but in general. Don't they have CR7? They have, but they need more. Talisca just left. That's the biggest thing. Talisca played right mid / center forward for them. And Talisca just left to Fenerbahce. They need to replace him. And Ronaldo is not getting any younger as well, by the way. John Duran playing with Ronaldo before Arteta gets sacked at Arsenal. Yeah, those will be the days. We are close to that. Ironically enough, Boniface to Arsenal, would that be a thing? Unfortunately, there are not enough Arsenal news today, which is kind of annoying. Hella pissing me off. Wait, let's check this. Arsenal considering late move for Prem striker that requires 2 giant commitments. Let's see what they're talking. It's Ferguson. Oh, fuck's sake. Here we go. Phase 1 striker once again. Arsenal in the mix of the Premier League striker who does have authorization to join a new club this window. Though the Gunners must make 2 big commitments before sealing the deal. It's not a secret. Arsenal are seeking to sign a ready-made striker who can make an instant impact before the February 3rd transfer deadline. My opinion is clear that we've lost 2 very important players. That's what Arteta said, Jesus and Saka and blah blah blah. It's clear that in the period of time that we lost them, ideally we need some help. We were short already and now we're even short. Well, that's your fault, you dumbass. The likes of Mateusz Cunha, Alexander Isak, Gyökeres, Osimhen, Sesko, Vlahovic. Dude, you see all these strikers we have been linked with only in January? Cunha, well, attackers, forwards. Cunha, Isak, Gyökeres, Osimhen, Sesko, Vlahovic. That's just 6. And there have been more like Duran and others. We have been linked with about 10 forwards this window alone, and we have signed no one, as wild as it sounds. Cunha, I mentioned that. But according to fresh update from TalkSport, Arsenal striker search could take the South Coast. It's claimed that Arteta's side cannot be ruled out of making a late move for Brighton's frontman ever Ferguson. To be honest, Ferguson's hype, as quickly as it rose, at the same pace as quickly it died. Really quick. 20-year-old has the green light to leave Brighton via loan route this month, with Everton, Bournemouth and West Ham mentioned as registering their interest. To be honest, Bournemouth and West Ham for Evan Ferguson would be quite fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. Especially for West Ham, since Fulkrug is injured for a long time. I'm not sure how long Evan Nilsson is out for Bournemouth, but as well. West Ham are also said to believe they have an upper hand on their transfer rivals. Talks to presence of Graham Parr, who managed Ferguson when previously was charged at Brighton, and that is a very good point. However, the chance to join the team at upper end of the table in Arsenal could trump Parr's influence, and that should be the case. Arsenal, one of the biggest teams in England, London, big wages, proper competition, sort of, Champions League, fighting for the title. I much rather go there. And he actually would be our main striker, as mad as it sounds. But before potential Ferguson to Arsenal move can be reality, the Gunners must make 2 significant commitments. Let's see. Firstly, it's important to know that Arsenal already have 2 loanees in their books from Premier League sides. Neto and Raheem Sterling are both in North London at the present. Premier League sides cannot loan more than 2 players from Premier League clubs at any given time, which means Arsenal just have no plans to cut Neto and Sterling loan spell short, meaning the only way to sign Ferguson is on a permanent deal, and that is the biggest thing. We're talking about these loan deals from Premier League. We already have 2 loan players from Premier League. The only way to do this is either you sign him instantly right now, or we have to cut one loan short. Sterling cannot happen because there's no callback clause and all that jazz in his contract, so it's only Neto. But that leaves only 1 goalkeeper. But based on the competitions we are in right now, Raya is going to play every single game. So that is basically a moot point at this stage, of course. If he gets injured, it's a different story. But there's also the possibility of signing Neto full-time and then trying to loan in Ferguson, of course. There's also that. And the second commitment Arsenal would have to make relates of his playing time. Well, that is not too hard. Just bin off Havertz and you have a striker. Well, it wasn't that hard, was it though? I would say Kean Edward out of the academy. Play him secondary striker or right wing. Yeah, but exactly, none signed. 10 strikers linked, none signed. Absolute bullshit FC fault for that. Etc. Well, I guess it is what it is. No matter how you look at things, there's always will be people who gonna dislike you or who gonna like you. But the way some things are happening surrounding this club, that the biggest clubs, kind of say fan account, Arsenal Football Club's fan account, supporters account, in a way for many people feels like they prefer like manager more than the club and everything. It's kind of weird thing, I'm not gonna lie. Arsenal given clear institution to appeal Miles Lewis-Skelly. Arsenal edge closer signing exciting star after talks. Imagine Kim and Lewis Skelly. Oh, that's Nypan, not even gonna talk about that. What Arsenal are saying about signing Evan Ferguson. Marcus Rashford, if that deal comes through somehow, if, for example, I already can imagine the scenes. Transfer deadline day. 5 hours left in the window. And all of a sudden, exclusive from Ornstein, Arsenal, 40 million bid for Marcus Rashford has been accepted by Manchester United. I already can imagine that. Already can see this. Because I called something similar with Raheem Sterling loan when they signed Neto and it came to tuition. Sadly. I'm not gonna lie, quite sadly. So I don't want to be right once again. Victor who? Which Victor? We're signing no Victors in this club. Exactly, hell no. But you can see this happening. This is Arsenal. That's how we operate. Though. Because Chelsea signed Neto late July, early August. And already at that time I said there's a big chance Raheem Sterling is going to come to Arsenal solely because they want him out. Sancho is going to come in as well, by the way. And Arteta knows him. 3 reasons. And 2 weeks left in the window. Some links with Arsenal. Last week of the transfer window. More concrete links with Arsenal. Last day of Arsenal. Bang. Arsenal signed him last day in the transfer window. You see him wearing the Arsenal shirt. That's the thing. I don't want to see it. But it's a possibility. There was a time I didn't even see Ozil ever wear an Arsenal shirt. Raheem Sterling, fuck's sake. Alexis Sanchez, that's a different story, obviously. But to be honest, I never thought Van Persie would wear United shirt. But United fans have never looked back ever since. He single-handedly pretty much won them the title. That was Ferguson's whole tactic, just hoof the ball to Van Persie and hope he scores. And he was scoring left, right and center. That is the big issue here. Saka's injury is still under mystery. According to injury reports, he is projected to be back late March, early April. If Arsenal were smart, they wouldn't bring him back until next season because you don't want to rush him back after ACL injuries and stuff like that, but I guess it is what it is. Arsenal are not the smartest bunch when it comes to that, given the history of injuries. So, obviously, this current report is saying that could be back late March, early April. That's on paper. How it's going to happen in real life, I'm not sure. You see him selling the Arsenal shirt on Fabrizio page, you Arsenal announced it. Dude, you just can't see it already, don't you? You see him selling the Arsenal... If that comes to life, I don't know what I will do. It's bad enough that we sold one of our best strikers in the last decade and a half, nearly 2 decades to United. It's now that we're gonna sign one of their players. Van Persie, that number 30 cannot help us at all. That's the thing. He's not Arteta type of player yet. He can play striker, he can play left wing, he can shoot, he can score, but he is basically a question mark every single game. You don't know how he's going to perform. He has an attitude. He has performance issues. Not like that on the pitch. He can hoof a knuckleball from 50 yards out. You know how Rashford does these things. He likes to party. He's going to be reunited with Sterling. Everything screams Arteta shouldn't do it. But you know, if it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. Which comes basically to that. You must now know. Now at the moment it's mad. It's mad. But yeah, it's a very slow days. And that could mean 2 things. You know how Arsenal do these business deals? Before Arsenal signs someone, there's always quite a bit of calmness and it's very silent. And out of nowhere, bang, there's a bid and something happens. And I kind of get a feeling we could see something like that happen. Whether it's going to be a loan or not remains to be seen, of course. The GOAT Ozil, one of the best Arsenal signings ever. Why did we let him retire? He was just... Well, he fell out with Emery and Arteta didn't like him. What else was there? Wenger get the best out of him because Wenger didn't ask him to defend. Arteta wanted him to defend. It all happened and it all went downhill, obviously. In Arteta's vision, everyone must attack and everyone must defend, which I get to some extent, yet at the same time is the dumbest shit I've ever had. Let's be real, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Because Bukayo Saka has said this in multiple times in interviews. Arteta wants his attackers to defend first and only then to attack. But what's the point spending 300 million on our defense when you are asking your attackers to come back, defend and bail you out half the time? So go figure. The GOAT, the only one best player. Sesko was better. Although the vision that Ozil possesses, dude, that was nuts. And the perfect weight of the passes he was displaying, mwah. If only he was 2-footed. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Arda Güler is not moving. Ancelotti has come out already early January, I think it was 10th or something like that, January, and said that Arda Güler is not moving whatsoever. Yeah, as Marlon is saying, Ancelotti ain't letting him go. And that is the thing as well. But yeah, I think for today I have covered everything. We have had a nice chat. We have had some talks and discussions here. So I think on that note, with hopes that Arsenal signs someone tomorrow, or there are actually some proper links tomorrow, I'm gonna end the stream. Although tomorrow is Tuesday, we play on Wednesday, so tomorrow is also Girona preview, by the way. We play Girona in Champions League in Spain. So we definitely gonna have that tomorrow as well. Let him follow on his Miles' footsteps. Yeah, and bring Ancelotti with you, by the way. But yeah. Tomorrow Girona preview, hopefully some transfer news as well on top of that. Hopefully Arsenal will make some advancements in that regard, maybe selling some and then signing some, who knows, time only will tell. But yeah, for today, that will be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, of course. If you're new around here, subscribe, helps a lot. Like if you haven't still already, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I answer to pretty much every single comment. Have a nice evening, take care, enjoy your time. Ancelotti could dominate with Arsenal quite heavily. And on top of that, 100% he would be given some funds to actually improve the squad as well. And Ancelotti has actually pull, so he would actually get some proper players. But yeah, for today, I am out. Take care, stay safe. Have a nice evening, enjoy your time tonight, and see you all tomorrow for Girona preview and some other stuff.